Missing since October 4th. A council member actually said that, you know what, we could do something for missing and exploited kids.
Absolutely. And, you look at the children. There are so many children in our area that are missing. In fact, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says roughly 800,000 kids are reported missing each year in this country. But perhaps if parents had an easier way to track children, that number could be lower. It's a thought that has companies working to develop technology to try and help parents keep an eye on their kids.
Yeah, so here to show us how one particular child tracking device works is Todd Morris of BrickHouse Security. Thank you so much for coming in here.
Thanks for having me.
And we've got some of the devices that are on the table right here. So tell us what these devices do and why parents should use them.
So these are GPS tracking devices, which means they get their location from GPS satellites, but then they transmit it back to a website via the cellular signal.
All right, so something like this, is that a battery pack, or what is that?
That is a battery-powered GPS tracker.
Okay.
And that one is used by law enforcement as well as parents, so it can be used to track a vehicle or a child.
So it's embedded in what? In a sneaker, in a backpack, in a coat? How does that go?
A backpack, a Tickle Me Elmo, it can be in a belt loop, it can be in a jacket, anything.
Now, how closely can these devices sort of dictate or tell somebody where you are? I mean, if you're inside, for instance, will it be able to tell you where in a building you are, or is it simply you have to be outside for GPS to work?
For the GPS to work, what it does is it leaves a breadcrumb trail down the road, and then it will go right up to the door of the building, and then once you go into the building, you just have to know they're in the building until the trail leaves the other side.
So it's constantly pinging then, so it isn't like you ask where it is. It's constantly leaving that trail, so you always can look it up and say, okay, here's where he or she went, here's the last place they got a ping.
Yeah, and we're seeing those street views right there of how this system works.
So especially with a child who's at risk of wandering, someone with Down syndrome or autism, it's important to get a location on them frequently and keep a record so that if they do go missing, you can actually see all the way through.
Listen, we have cameras in our houses. I'm always checking on my cameras all the time from the set, so all of us want to be plugged in and know what's happening with our children at any given moment. What does something like this cost? Because I know people are out there going, oh, this is too expensive. I can't afford something like this.
These cost about $29 a month and about $149 to buy. And in some areas, children who are developmentally disabled can actually get them sponsored by a local organization.
Now compare this to, say, using a cell phone as a tracker, because obviously there's cell phone software. Is this very similar, or do you think this might be even better than just having a cell phone and having an app on it?
So cell phones are designed for you to recharge them at least once a day. Any of us who have a cell phone with apps on it know you have to charge it at least once a day. When a child goes missing, you don't want to worry about it running out of a charge because someone didn't charge it. So these are designed.
How long would this last right here?
This one is an older model, lasts about 3 or 4 days. These others last 7 to 10 days.
7 to 10 days, wow.
So, and that's with continual tracking every 5 minutes.
And we're talking about the cost of this. Get this, an average law enforcement community spends about $30,000. $30,000 for the search of a child in one day. Wow. So can you imagine if kids were actually given something like this?
That could save a lot of money
would do?
And find a lot of kids faster.
And many of the kids that have autism and Down syndrome that wander do it repeatedly. So the law enforcement agencies know them by name, and they've gone out to find them several times. So it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, giving us some insights here. I mean, 3 or 4 days on a charge. I mean, or a week on a charge. That's very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Todd Morris of BrickHouse Security. For more information, go on our website, pix11.com.